What's going on, guys? Good morning. Welcome back to United View. Hope everyone is doing very well. Welcome back to another edition of Matchday Reloaded here live in Panenka Studios. Yes, we're back to react, to recap, and discuss what happened yesterday. And a lot happened yesterday at Old Trafford. The drama that was Manchester United 2, Brentford 1, late drama, late injury time drama, late Scott McTominay magic. McTominay in Fergie time apropos, considering obviously the week and the difficult circumstances that the Ferguson family find themselves in at the moment. Obviously, prayers, thoughts and condolences go out to Sir Alex after the passing of his wife. But yesterday it was drama. Yesterday it was... I mean, where do you start with it? Certainly, well, we'll start from some of the good, some of the bad, some of the ugly, and then everything in between. So be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well. Bottom right hand corner. We are going to be getting some reaction. Obviously, we'll be going to Flex, KG, Marcel, Haley, Cam. Good vibes. John will also have some highlights from the match view as well. So there's plenty to get into this morning. How is everybody doing though? Are we feeling good? How is everybody feeling after? After that yesterday, it's. I was thinking about it. This is why I like Matchday Reloaded, because sometimes, you know, if you're on the match view, you're reacting to stuff in real time, and then you do your fan views afterwards, and you kind of, again, are still, you know, reacting, trying to digest what's happened in the game. Even if you do the full time view like I do, you're still, you know, again, dissecting what happened. You're still trying to break down what happened, and you still maybe haven't completely digested it, and you're still not completely sure about how you truly, really feel about the game. And it's a difficult one, because when you win the game in the manner that United did yesterday, which is, I mean, Scott McTominay scores, what is it, in the 93rd and 97th minute, something like that, you're euphoric. I mean, there's nothing more euphoric than winning a football match in the dying moments. I mean, our history is, frankly, kind of built upon it. Some of our greatest moments are based on late injury time winners. But as it goes on and you sort of put that to one side and you think about the performance in totality, it was still not great for yesterday for Manchester United. Ultimately, the most important thing is the result. Ultimately, what really truly matters is getting 3 points. That was a must. We could not even... This is the thing, you'll see it in the match view highlights. Even when McTominay equalised, obviously it was a celebration because you realise we're probably not going to lose this match, but it was still a general feeling of this isn't enough. Given the start to the season that we've had, and even the thought of going 4 games in a row at home and not winning, let alone, you know, looked like it was going to be 4 defeats in a row, and then even getting a point, it would have been like, well, we need more. We got what we needed, but there are still massive problems. There are still massive issues. And I think the biggest glaring issue, and it's something that Flex brings up in his reaction, which we'll get to shortly, the biggest problem for United, I think, at this point in time, is that the key senior players that you would expect to perform, that Erik ten Hag would expect to perform for him, are not performing. That to me is the biggest problem right now for Manchester United. Key senior players are really through the spine of the team too. So you start in goal with Andre Onana. The goal conceded yesterday, it's another goalkeeping error. You then look into the midfield. Casemiro, senior player. I know he's our top goal scorer this season, but he's still been putting in subpar performances. And yesterday for the goal, he's at fault again, giving the ball away. He got hooked at half-time. You then go a bit further forward. Bruno Fernandes, he's your captain. He's your talismanic figure. He's meant to be the catalyst. He's meant to be your leader. And he goes missing in games. He's wasteful. He gives the ball away. Hollywood Bruno, frustrating Bruno, whinging Bruno, makes a return. And then you get a bit further forward and you have Marcus Rashford, who, once again, got hooked yesterday, earlier than any other point this season. He's getting taken off progressively earlier in the last 3 games. Started off, I think it was 77, then it was 65, yesterday it was 60. And Erik ten Hag can say what he wants in the press conferences about backing him, and he'll continue to do so. Make no mistake. Saying that, you know, we have to support him, it will come, you go for ups and downs, but he will get back to it, and he'll be on fire. That's his words, he will be on fire. He doesn't look like a player that is going to be catching a spark anytime soon. And once again, gets taken off earlier than previously. And Alejandro Garnacho comes on, and He did look like a spark. He did look like he was going to make something happen. He was crucial in the build-up for the equaliser as well in Garnacho too. And, he's making things happen. And those senior players are not making things happen. As I mentioned, that's a problem. That's a massive, massive problem. So it was also the people that realistically shouldn't even be at United at this point. You look at the last goal, the winner, it's a ball into the box. Who wins the header? Harry Maguire heads it across goal. Who wins the second header? Scott McTominay. And I think that is one of the biggest takeaways for me as well, coming out of yesterday's game, that when the team news came out and you had a back four of Lindelof, Maguire, Evans and Dalot, I think most people thought, that's a problem. That defence is nasty. That defence is ugly. That defence is going to leak goals. And it speaks volumes, I think, really, that the defence was almost the least problematic area of the team yesterday. Johnny Evans, Harry Maguire did very well. We'll go into them a bit more individually in a bit, but did very well. No problem. I mean, Lindelof, for the goal, maybe it's a bit of a poor clearance. But the bigger problems, as I mentioned, were those senior players, those big players, those players that Ten Hag has backed. Andre Onana, Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford. And it's the same players week in and week out that we keep talking about every single time. And for large portions of the game, frankly, for sort of 90 minutes, the game was entirely predictable as to how it's been recently, which is opening 20 minutes, fine. Not our best 20 minutes that we've had, not our best opening 20, but 20 minutes of, okay, United are knocking the ball around, looking fairly comfortable, fairly in control. Then what happens? An individual mistake by Casemiro gives the ball away. It allows the opponent to counter. We don't deal with it. So there's a defensive error in there. Victor Lindelof doesn't clear it very well. And a goalkeeper mistake to top it off. And then we're 1-0 down. And you're watching it happen in real time. And you're saying to yourself, this is every week. Every week, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's the same players. It's the same outcome. The only difference yesterday is that actually we came back. And I think that's the hope that people are holding on to here. And hopefully, and justifiably so, is that we've criticised mentality. We've criticised the tenaciousness of a lot of these players. In fact, all of them this season, because you usually go 1-0 down. We don't come back. But they did show something. They did show something and they did come back. But it wasn't, I say they, it's the collective of everyone there. But in reality, it's not those senior players. It's not those big players that turned it around. It's fringe players. It's players that shouldn't be in the first team at the moment. They're only in, obviously, for injury, but also because other performers, other players aren't performing. And that's what Ten Hag has to balance and juggle at this point, is what do I do with those senior players that consistently are letting me down? What do I do with them? Because he's got to figure it out. And it's rough, but it doesn't matter. But the most important thing is getting the victory. Now, Scott McTominay spoke after the game. He said, quote, "I've been brought up at this club ever since I was 5 years old. I know the feeling of never being allowed to give up better than anyone. When you're not doing well at this football club, everyone is against you. It feels like we are in our own bubble with the rest of the world saying negative things." He said that was probably one of my favourite moments ever on a football pitch. Can you imagine? I mean, it's the stuff you dream of, isn't it? I mean, it really is the stuff you dream of as a kid. One day I'm going to score the last-minute winner at Old Trafford. When I'm older, I'm going to score not only the last-minute winner, I'm going to score both goals at Old Trafford to win the game. And Erik Ten Hag, as we'll get to very shortly, was very complimentary of Scott McTominay, and I don't blame him, because he probably thought, not that he saved his job, but because I don't think Ten Hag would have got sacked had we lost yesterday, but he's reduced a little bit of pressure. Not a lot, but he's reduced a bit of pressure, and we know what it's like as United fans going into an international break. When you lose, the media, a lot of their things, they were getting ready to press send. Now, hopefully, it'll be left in the drafts for 2 weeks. But make no mistake, it will still be there. Bruno Fernandes, after the game, Manchester United captain, said, "This is Manchester United. Even if you win 10 games in a row and lose one, it's a crisis straight away. We are not having the results and the points we want to have, but it's about getting the focus back after the international break." And again, I kind of push back on that a bit because he's saying that, the problem is at United, when you lose a game, it's always a crisis. But that's not a really accurate representation of what's been going on at United. It's not like this has been an overblown crisis. I think it's a fairly justified crisis. When you lose 3 games in a row at home, when you have the worst start to a Premier League season ever, when you lose your first 2 games in the Champions League, when last season, you didn't beat anyone in the top 6 away from home, that is a crisis. I think the notion to come out and go, well, it's a bit overblown, the crisis. We were mere minutes away from losing 4 games in a row at home in all competitions. I think that crisis might be a bit justified at Manchester United. Now, McTominay also said after the game, "I'm just happy to be able to contribute and show people that I can do it. Everyone knows we are in a difficult period at the minute, but we have fighters in the group that want to keep going right until the end. It could have been anyone on that pitch scoring 2 goals. Hopefully, we can build from here." Now, the Brentford manager, Thomas Frank, said that he thinks it was an unfair result. Did United deserve to win? I mean, I think like if it had ended up with a draw, I wouldn't have said that was totally unfair. Did United do enough to win that game? I mean, you would look at the stats on the screen, and you would say maybe we dominated possession, as you can see right there. We had more shots on target, but I mean, maybe that says it all. I don't know. Erik ten Hag said after the game, "I have to thank the fans. They were behind us all of the game." Actually, this was a good quote from Scott McTominay too. He said that he was watching David Beckham's documentary, and he said, quote, "I was watching David Beckham's documentary last night, and you see the history, the people behind the club. That's what the lads do it for. Cath on reception, the kit man, everyone. It's so important. We all come together, and we do it for the people." Now, what was quite interesting is Christian Eriksen was brought on at halftime for Casemiro as well. And when asked about that in the press conference after the game, Erik ten Hag said, quote, "I wanted more football." Now, this is why it's important to watch the press conference, because he was basically saying, he wanted more passing, he wanted more progression of the ball. But it is a bit of an indictment on Casemiro, certainly, because there is a problem with Casemiro, and I know that people will point to why he's our top goal scorer this season, so he can't be playing that bad. But when you watch the games and his sloppiness on the ball at points, and the amount of times he actually doesn't win duels anymore, it's really concerning stuff. Really, really concerning. And that incident that led to the goal yesterday against Brentford, he's done that pass or a version of that pass nearly in every game. Pretty much, just giving the ball away and then trying to win it back, get a book in, or then chasing the game. And that's not to say that everything's on him, because it's not. But at the same time, as more midfield options come back, and now we've got Amrabat, we've got Eriksen, even a McTominay because he played well yesterday, Kobe Mainoo come back in, Mason Mount, etc. You then start to say, well, maybe it's not the worst thing if he drops out. If he's not playing well as a senior player, if he's not delivering. And I'm not just talking about him getting goals, but then his overall game being not good enough. If he's not delivering, then you take him off. Then you make him sit on the bench, because no player is above being dropped. And that was a substitution that was the right one by Ten Hag yesterday. Ten Hag also said on Scott McTominay, quote, "You see, he is Manchester United in everything in his heart. He is playing for the badge. He gives his life. When you are coming on and do this for the team, it says a lot." He also said, "These games fuel the dressing room. In football, it's eat or get eaten. Too many times in the first half of this season, we got eaten by opponents who are more hungry. This can't be. Every player has to deliver that in every second he is on the pitch. This has to be a turning point." And what's quite interesting here too is that lots of people have criticised Ten Hag this season for saying, he's not going in on the players enough after we lose games or we don't get results. Sometimes that's not the time. Sometimes that's not the time to go in on the players. Sometimes the time to go in is when things are good or things actually start to turn around. For instance, you win a match and then you say, as he mentions, too many times this season, we've been eaten alive by the opponents because they wanted it more. Their mentality was better. Their determination was better. And again, I think that's quite interesting that he then points that out to say, and it's true, that too often this season, we've played any team, they've just wanted it more. Everything about them has been better than us. And even in the first half yesterday, you could just see Brentford, they were up for it more than us again. Their mentality was stronger. But we got there in the end. That's the most important thing. Speaking of the game, if you missed it, obviously, can't show you the footage. United View don't have that Premier League media rights deal. Maybe in the future, you never know. But what we can do is give you a highlight of the match view. And, it was a cracker. It was an absolute cracker. Take a look at this.
That's a bit mad still.
Well done.
Oh, no. Why, bro?
Onana's dead. Onana's dead. Onana's dead.
Keeper's not it, bro. Listen,
Onana's dead.
Keeper's not it. Keeper's not it. The keeper's
Onana's
not it.
dead.
He's not it.
Onana's dead.
I'm making up my mind.
Onana's dead.
Yeah, and you like to click this.
That's bread and butter. Hey,
Okay, listen.
That's bread and butter.
Can we break this down?
That's the David Hayer bread and butter.
Casemiro. Yeah,
Can we just break this down? Hang on. So this happened from our own free kick.
That's right. Shouldn't be shooting first time. There's no.
Finish!
Well done.
Who?
Mickey
Whatever.
T. Was that Mickey T?
Mickey!
Hey!
Oh! Thank you, Mickey.
I spoke that into existence.
He starts the next game now, you know. For me, I don't care, bro. I'm
Talk
going
about
to that
reactionary.
stage. Yes, I am reactionary because the rest of the players aren't doing nothing. At least somebody's trying to do something.
Celebrate like a crackhead.
They like.
Mickey T! Yeah! Reactionary, McTominay started this game. I don't care. We needed that blood.
Yes.
I said he's had his hand. Okay, now.
Look at Onana. That's mine.
But this is okay. Sorry, I'm so happy. I'm not moaning, right? But this is my point. Like.
Oh, he's offside. He's offside. Mickey.
Oh Lord.
Maguire.
I tell you what, in all-time classic moments in United View, and there have been some classic moments in the match view as well. There have been some classic match view moments. KG going. I mentioned this on Twitter, X, whatever. KG going full like EastEnders with the way he Mickey T that's up there. That is up there. It might be up there with the likes of Panenka or whatever. There was quite a few in the World Cup. I got too carried away. But KG's Mickey T is it's so good. So good. I'm gonna add it to the soundboard. And I think KG needs to add it to his own Mickey T. Oh god, that is a classic. It's an all-timer. And it's funny because when you look, it doesn't matter how bad you've been playing in that game and just in general. And Flex mentions it in his fan view, and it's so true, isn't it? That there is the celebration police is a real thing, because you get those people, and I saw them yesterday saying, "Look at us. This is the standards now. We're celebrating last-minute winners against Brentford to be in the mid-table. Look at these standards. What do you want then? I'll tell you what, guys. What we should do, is score 2 goals in injury time to win, and then have a bit of a golf clap. We won, but I'm still rubbish. Now, come on, celebrate. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy the euphoria. After the game, obviously, you can still say, like I've just said this morning, we were still pretty shit. We were still pretty rubbish. We kind of got away with it. Maguire to McTominay, that says a lot. The club's still a shambles. Yes, the Glazers still own it. Yes. But they're not mutually exclusive. You can't be like, because otherwise, what's the point in anything, realistically, when it comes to Manchester United? It's going to be shit for a while. We're rubbish on the pitch. We're rubbish on the pitch. The club's completely a mess. But then let's just sit on our hands. The whole good. We won. But I don't care. You know, what's the point then? What's the point? I bet they're fun at parties. You know, what are they like at New Year's Eve? 3, 2, 1. It doesn't matter. It's basically the same. Yeah, a minute ago it was last year. Now it's New Year. Whatever. What of it? You know, and then someone's just going, oh, pop. Oh, cool. Well, I guess that wraps things up then, doesn't it? You know? So, no, enjoy the euphoria, you know? And that's for anyone. People mocking Spurs when they did it against Spurs. With Spurs when they did it against Sheffield United. And they were celebrating, oh, I can't believe you're celebrating being Sheffield United. Well, they scored 2 late goals as well. Good for them. You know, enjoy it. Enjoy it. It's something called life. Enjoy it, the ups and downs, you know? When life gives you moments, celebrate it, enjoy it. And this is me, like one of the most miserable people ever saying that. Oh, those people. Ridiculous. But big up to Scott McTominay and big up to Harry Maguire. I want to single them both out because they shouldn't be here, realistically. They shouldn't be here and they shouldn't be in the team. But when people don't perform, when injuries happen, you take your chance and you make your moments. And because for that last goal, as I mentioned, it's a header back across goal by Harry Maguire. And it's a header by Scott McTominay. I think there's an argument to be made that keeper should probably do better because he gets a hand to it and puts it onto the post, but I don't care. But Maguire in general yesterday, and this is where I do think people have, you know, agendas against him, because Maguire yesterday was fine. He was good. And when you say that, you'll go, Harry Maguire played well yesterday. He's still not good enough and he shouldn't be at this club. Didn't say he should be. So you're saying he's what, prime Maldini? Is that what you're saying? No. Yesterday, Harry Maguire played well. He came in and he did what was asked of him. He did what people want him to do. You know, he didn't leave, obviously, but whilst he's under contract and whilst the transfer window isn't open and it's incapable of him to leave, when he got picked, he played well. How many times have we said on shows like this, the only way to curb the criticism that he gets, and he gets a lot of it, you know, and a lot of it justifiably so, a lot of it steps over the line, but a lot of it is justified based on performances. The only way to silence that is do what? Perform. Put in good performances. And yesterday he did that. So, you know, I'll give him credit for that. He did well. Him and Johnny Evans were very comfortable largely in defence. You know, they did fine. They handled what Brentford threw at them. Fair play to him. And again, when they play well, it's only fair to praise them. He did well yesterday. Scott McTominay, when he came on, did well yesterday. When he had those 2 moments, he took them. Been scoring goals for Scotland. We've been saying, why can't he do that for Manchester United? He did. Well, I mean, what a difference in his performance, because we were talking about when he played Bayern Munich and he basically couldn't be bothered to run back, and yesterday he comes on and he shows his determination. He shows his willingness, and again, good for him when it comes to that. You know, I think it's funny because Erik ten Hag said after the game as well that actually there were plans for him to play against Palace when we lost 1-0, but he was ill. Which again I think is quite interesting. So the question is now, what does Ten Hag do with McTominay? When you come on and score 2 injury time winners, does that put you in the team, or do you say, oh, I stick with the players that I started with that aren't performing at the moment? I think that's an interesting one. I'll put a poll in the chat about that in just a second. Let's get some more reaction though. Let's go to Flex first. Outside Old Trafford, here are his thoughts on United's 2-1 victory against Brentford.
Win, and for large parts of the game, as you can imagine, it weren't looking like that. You know what I mean? I was thinking I've got to go into DR Sports on Monday, hold corn. You know what I mean? Is Ten Hag even going to survive this? It just felt so low, and there's so much to talk about. But you have to just start with a positive because you've won the game, especially in the way that we did. And Scott McTominay, weren't until I saw the replays, because obviously I was so far away from the goals. The first goal is actually a really good finish. It's a great little bit of control, good finish into the corner. And then you're just urging the boys on, you thinking, could it be? And you know what? What I will say is, no more mocking any other teams for last minute goals, yeah? When Spurs wanted to score the last minute goal against bloody Sheffield United, or bloody when Arsenal did it against Bournemouth last year, the emotion and how it takes you in the moment, especially in the ground, yeah, it's crazy. And I left there and I was like, I don't know how to feel. Is that good? Is that bad? Look how we played. There's a lot of mistakes still there, which I'll get into in a minute. Players still not doing what they need to do. But sometimes when the chips are down, yeah, and you ain't playing well and your confidence is rock bottom, sometimes you just need something. There's something in the air. There's something in the stadium that you just need to just keep going, and you need to win a game in that fashion. And hopefully that could be a catalyst for some other stuff. But there's still some alarming things, which I'll get into. What I do want to say, though, is, and a lot of people have touched on it today, you know, with the passing, unfortunately, of Sir Alex Ferguson's wife, Kathy, yesterday, which was really, really sad news. To win a game like that, in that manner, it was so Fergie-esque, wasn't it? It was so Fergie-esque. And it was a proper Fergie time winner. So yeah, it was a very befitting moment / tribute to the boss's missus, who's sadly no longer with us, which was really sad to hear that yesterday. So to win a game like that was just, yeah, it was very befitting. But to break down the game, I mean, look, it was exactly what we've been seeing from Man United, really, wasn't it? It was really poor. It was the same story that we've seen, the same script that we've seen. First 17, 20 minutes, we're just okay. We wasn't great. We didn't really create anything. But guess what? Neither did the other team. Neither did Brentford. And again, a passage of errors, a passage of negligence leads to the team scoring against us, the opposition scoring against us. And it was no different. Casemiro today hooked off at half-time, and rightly so. He was absolutely awful today by his standards, and he hasn't been playing very well recently as well. It starts from him. Even before he gave that ball away in that sequence of calamitous errors that led to us conceding, he gave one away in midfield. He just had the ball, and I think Whistle was standing in front of him, and he just plays a lazy pass, a careless pass. And it hits off Whistler's head, and they have the ball, and then they have an attack from it. And that just set the tone. He just could not get involved. He was so bad. But this time, no pressure on him. Gives the ball away. Then tries to make up for his mistake and goes steaming in. They get round his tackle. Then the ball gets into the box. Lindelof, awful, pathetic clearance. Kicks it straight back to them. And then they have an awful P-roller of a shot again. And Onana does what he done. And at that point, I said, look, you know what? Take him out. Take him out. Tom Heaton would not make that mistake. He wouldn't. I know we got a new keeper called, Bayern there. Maybe play him. But I'm telling you now, Tom Heaton would not be letting those in the net. And I was emotionally charged. I'm saying, he ain't it. Just take him out. He's awful. And you want to back the players. You want to put an arm around them. But it's getting more and more difficult to do that when we're letting in goals like that. Yes, we've come back to win the game today. But that's a huge problem. It isn't just Onana. Casemiro's another one as well. He should be taken out the team. It's not working. It's not working. But, now you're calming down and you're looking at the way that the team's won. There's going to be 2 weeks off. I'm pretty sure Ten Hag's going to stick with Onana. But how much more? How many more?
It's a good question, isn't it? Flex points out there with Andre Onana. How many more mistakes? I don't know. I really don't know with Andre Onana. Because it's getting to the point now with him where... One, we're conceding a goal near enough every game. We had a couple of clean sheets, Burnley and Palace in the Carabao Cup, but it feels like we're conceding a goal near enough every game. The goals that we're conceding are really poor, preventable goals. And, yesterday's one, every time you watch it back, as Flex says, it's a P-roller, there's no real pace on the ball. It gets a slight deflection, which actually takes more of the pace off the ball. He doesn't sort his feet out. He gets a hand to it as well. And it's in the middle of the goal. It's in the middle of the goal. And it just feels like whenever you concede a goal, there'll always be a discussion of, could the keeper do better there, blah, blah, blah. But if every game there's a goal at the moment where you're talking, what's he doing? What's Onana doing? And I think we knew that bringing him in, there was going to be, it's a risk versus reward situation. There were going to be situations where goals went in that you say, well, I think David probably does better there, but it would be a net positive in that the build-up play would really improve because of it, and the playing out from the back would really improve because of it. And in the last couple of games, we haven't really seen that much of him either. He's going long quite a lot. Obviously, he made the mistake against Galatasaray and passing out from the back, which can happen, but that's a lack of concentration. Yesterday, he nearly kind of sold out Johnny Evans as well. He played the ball back across to Johnny Evans, and it was a bit of an underhit pass. And Johnny Evans had to win a foul in the end, but that could have gone really, really bad. And it's just... Ten Hag, as Flex says, I think Ten Hag will still keep him in the team, but it does get to the point where you say, well, actually, maybe this is more than, just, struggling to adjust situation. Maybe this is bad form, and maybe you need to come out of the team. And look, you have to be cautious because, look, we haven't seen Bayern Dia play, and I think with him, look, he came from, was it Fenerbahce, £4 million. I don't think he's most likely going to be, blow us away when he comes in. But when we're conceding the goals that we're conceding, they're soft, really, really soft goals. You have to ask massive questions. And he knows as well, Andre Onana, make no mistake about that. Because when McTominay scored his late goal, who was first to sprint up the pitch? Who was first to sprint up the pitch and celebrate with his teammates? It was Andre Onana, because he knew, this guy's come on, he's bailed me right out the shit today, because there would have been even more questions about me, and they don't disappear just because they won. Maybe they'll be a bit sort of dampened a little bit, but still, the question marks will certainly be there. Now, he made a couple of half-decent saves in the second half, but not to go full Roy Keane, but that is his job. And those saves, I would argue, he's most likely expected to make, as he was expected to make the save for that goal. And it's not good enough. And I think some people might be holding him up to the standards of David De Gea in terms of shot stopping, and maybe that's not completely fair because David De Gea was a fantastic shot stopper, but these ones are basic. These ones are massively basic, and that's not to say that his was the only mistake in that one, because again, this is what's baffling too. And I haven't checked the comment section, but I guarantee right now, most likely, there will be someone that will say, yeah, but what about this mistake? The whataboutism will start. Right? It's a cavalcade of mistakes. Casemiro gives the ball away. It's shocking. He got hooked off for it for half time, justifiably so. He's made mistakes like that as well. Victor Lindelof, he makes a mistake. He should clear it better. Okay? That's a mistake on his part. But as a goalkeeper, I'm talking about goalkeepers here, he should save that. And if you get into the territory of going, what about this guy? What about that guy? And pointing to other people, they should all accept collective blame, but they should all accept their individual criticisms as well, because all of them did not do their jobs. But it's a recurring problem with Andre Onana. And if your first reaction is to point to someone else's mistake, then that lets the person that made their part in the mistake get away with it. That's what it's like. And I bet there you go. I was right. I was right. What about the Casemiro mistake? Was it different to Onana? This is my point. Yeah, everyone had their part to play in it, but that doesn't excuse the mistake made by Andre Onana either. Okay? And what you have to do is take accountability for it. What you have to do is, as a manager, try and rectify it as well. Because, okay, Casemiro makes a mistake for the goal, Victor Lindelof does, but what happens in certain games when it was no one else? It was just the Onana mistake. Like we've seen a couple of times this season against Bayern Munich and others. It's a problem, and that needs to be addressed. Let's go to some more reaction. I can't believe I predicted that. Let's go to some more reaction. Let's go to KG. Here are his thoughts inside UVHQ.
I feel like a mid-table fan right now because I'm celebrating, shamelessly celebrating. And listen, I'm telling you right now, this is poetic. Poetic in the sense of, again, Man United doing what they've done in the past where, rescue a game that you had no right in terms of winning, but how some way they just dug deep. And who did the goal come from? Scottish guy from the academy. Again, it's RIP Kathy Ferguson and prayers to the Ferguson family. But again, what a poetic moment in the terms of Scott comes onto the pitch and there's sauce everywhere. Literally, sauce all over the pitch. He comes on, he says, I'm going to do something. My name's Mickey T, bruv. Passion and desire. And that's what Man United have been lacking. We've been lacking passion. We've been lacking desire. We've been lacking mental. Your brain. Use your brain, guys. And what does Scott McTominay do? He uses his brain. He remembers, I'm playing in the Premier League. I play for Man United, one of the biggest clubs in the world. I need to play like I've got sense. And you saw it. Good touch. Ball. Back of the net, wicked, we're celebrating. And I'm thinking, you know what? Ooh, we rescued something here. Could we get more? Because please believe, before this game, it's a relegation 6-pointer. We're looking at this game, it's a 6-pointer. And I never thought Man United would be in a position to be talking about 6-pointers. Before that goal goes in, We're 13th in the league. 13th in the league going on international break. 2 weeks off for the tabloids and for everyone to go crazy. For Ten Hag, there'll be numerous articles about Ten Hag. Leaks. It's not even leaks. The Hoover Dam's broken. It's everyone's releasing stuff. It would have been vicious. It would have been vicious. And all that happens is the spotlight and the shine is on the manager. You're looking at the manager saying, "Ooh, I don't know if he's put himself in an untenable position." Luckily, Scott comes up with the goods today, and he makes that change. So again, well done to Scott, well done to Ten Hag. But it's deeper than that, because while I can praise the team, we have to look at some real issues. Onana, no Nana. It can't be, not my Nana right now. It's your buying there, straight in. Buying there, over here, fam. Get him in the team, because I don't know what's going on. I've never seen a keeper play so bad. Like, we're trying to rank him. Is he one of the worst keepers that have come to Man United? And people will say, KG, that's really harsh. But it's the starting position. He's in the goal, even when the mistake happens, because it is kind of it's on Casemiro, then it's on Lindelof, then it's on Onana. But Onana is expected to save that. I keep saying that. There's so many times I've been watching this guy play, and I'm just worried. Getting down low, he can't get there in time. Again, the wrist not strong enough. I don't know if the wrists are not being strong. It's a confidence issue, but you got to pull him out. Right now, we're doing no favors keeping him in the team when he's playing like that. Again, the delivery is, I don't care about, I want a shot stopper. I need a shot stopper first that can deliver. Like, it's not hard to ask for two things. We're asking for two traits, modern football traits, and right now he's not showing them, and he's putting us in a lot of problems. A team that is mentally fragile can't afford to go down. But luckily, Man United shows some level of character today, some level of, we're doing better. But we have to really look at the team. Casemiro, another big mistake. And you're asking for the big players. You're asking for the ones that have been here for a long time or played the game to not make these kind of silly decisions. And I need Casemiro to look after the ball. Casemiro treats that ball like he doesn't care about it. Like that child that you just don't want to raise, fam. No, Casemiro. You need to look after that ball, fam. That's your situation.
I was wondering where KG was going with that one. with that. Big up to KG. And look, as he points out with the Andre Onana thing, it needs to get better. It needs to improve. Now, again, he's not the only one that's not performing at the moment. We mentioned earlier on, didn't we? Senior players, big senior players in Onana, in Casemiro, in Bruno Fernandes, in Marcus Rashford. Once again, Rashford goes off 60 minutes yesterday, progressively getting earlier. Didn't offer all that much. It was just the same. It was just the same Marcus Rashford. I think not more needs to be said about Marcus Rashford that hasn't already been said this season. He is miles off it. And he frustrates me when I watch him at the moment. It's always... he's predictable. It looks like he doesn't know what he's going to do. And he came off and Garnacho came on, and again, he was a spark. He was better. He was more influential than him. Again, Rashford's body language looks miles off. When he loses the ball, which is a lot, you don't see that work rate. You see a lot of that. Again, it's not even jogging. That's one of my biggest bugbears. It's not even the jog. It's the fake jog. The fake jog is the worst. That you go, well, you're not running. I can tell you're running. You may try to get the perception that you're running, but you are walking right now, my friend. And he does that a lot, and he's just not offering that much. And I think now's the time for Garnacho to take his spot, and Rashford needs to drop out of the side. We have seen in the last game, this game is a perfect example of no one has that divine right to start. No one has that divine right to play. No. He's got to drop out the side. Bruno Fernandes, again, another one. Because I suppose for him, it might be more difficult. It might be more difficult to drop your captain or take your captain off. But even he recently, he's just vanished. He just absolute vanished throughout the game, and he's wasteful. And I remember yesterday, gets the ball out, decent position, crosses it, goes straight into the side net, and then when he does that, he'll put it over the bar side net, and he starts shouting at people. No, Bruno. Okay? No. You have to, as a leader, as a captain, do what you're supposed to do. You have to inspire. You can't F up individually and then start shouting at other people. Now, I understand people will say, well, being played out of position, he's not as effective on the right-hand side. We know that. And I think that's going to change now that Anthony's back. He'll start games more often. But still, Bruno has a lot of making up to do, I think, with some of his performances this season. They, again, have not been good enough. The senior players, just again, have not been good enough for United this season. And Onana, Casemiro, Rashford, Bruno, they all fall into that same category. And these players that are on the periphery, these fringe players or these youth players, have been coming in and offering more than these players that are the big players on big contracts and they're not contributing enough. And again, that's not good enough. Not good enough at all. Let's go to some more reaction. Let's go to Marcel outside Old Trafford. A lot of people talking about Marcel recently. Here are his thoughts on the game.
I've got to admit something about our keeper right now. The technicals are not there. But what an emotional football match. I mean, the guy that's meant to be sold, that's not meant to be here, passionate merchant, all of that thing. Sometimes the game needs that. Sometimes the game requires a bit of passion to unlock the situation because we couldn't do anything to break them down. I mean, Rashi, I'm glad Rashi comes off the time that he comes off, but and Garnacho was to no avail. Like it's a bit weird. It's like and Anthony does this too much, Flex. He dribbles past and makes all that ground for the football club, gets us up the pitch
For the football.
he gets us all the way up the pitch, Flex, and then passes it all the way back. It's like we make no progress. You made the whole team, the whole game is now in their half, and then you pass it backwards. And I understand recycling the ball, but sometimes we want you to take the risks, especially when we're losing the game 1-0. Scott McTominay, brilliant. Scott McTominay, brilliant. With those 2 last headers in the last minute, we really needed that, man. And I was telling the fella next to me.
No, one of them was a shot. Oh, the 2 last headers that led to the second goal, you mean? Because Maguire heads it back across.
The 2 must head to it. It was Maguire, then Scott. Sorry, I said Scott twice. Sorry, no. Because it was a finish at the near post. Really good finish as well, by the way, Flex. But I told a fella next to me, he was leaving the game 1-0. It's like 40 seconds left to go. I said, you should know better than most, fella. He looked a bit older as well. I said, you should know better than most. There's a goal coming. And I think Charlie mentioned it, Sir Alex's misses past, Fergie time, there's just something, there's a feeling, and I hope that the players are able to capture that feeling, 2 weeks to relax and think about the result. I don't want to get too positive or too giddy because we've seen it. It doesn't look right. The team doesn't look right. The football that we're playing just doesn't look right. And it's weird because it looks like we're controlling games. 20, 30 minutes in, I thought...
It's the same story. It's the same thing.
Why is that?
For 20 minutes, we were absolutely fine. We weren't playing amazing, by the way.
Yeah, we weren't.
But Brentford weren't doing anything. And again, a series of 3 mistakes in a row caused that. Casemiro, awful. Then Lindelof kicks it straight back to them. And then the Onana one. 3 calamitous mistakes in a row.
I'm worried, Flex. I'm worried that Onana doesn't... I've heard people say he's our Claudio Bravo, and I disagree with that. I think his technical ability on the ball is way superior to most people in world football in that position, but the fundamentals is really, really bad.
Do you think he can come through it? Do we just have to just calm down? Well, it's hard to calm down because he's literally costing us goals. But is it just about, in terms of the manager and what the team does and the coaches, is it about an arm around him and keep playing him through this, or is it time already to go, nah, mate, you need some time on the bench?
Arm around him, I think. I would say give an arm around him. You can see him, through the phases of the game. He's talking to himself, head down. He's looking a bit sad about the mistakes that he's making. But Ten Hag has to back him, firstly, and I think we have to follow suit with Ten Hag in this one. I'm very worried, though. I'm extremely scared, man, because that's not good enough. That's just way below par. These are clangers now. These are the hair clangers that I was complaining about last season level.
Because that's the thing. It's like you say these things. De Gea was doing this, or De Gea was doing. I hate the revisionism. I know what it's like. It doesn't mean that David De Gea shouldn't maybe have moved on. But when the new keeper is doing that, we have to speak about it. And we have to talk about what the best way forward is. We've made a big investment into him, a big decision for the club to do that. So you're saying just keep backing him, and he'll come out the other side. Yeah,
I believe it'll come good. Right now it looks like a waste of money, and they want to tell me that. I would agree with them. It's very simple. The technical says Bayern Munich one was shocking, really, really bad. Near post against Arsenal, embarrassing, quite frankly. And you spoke to him, Flex. So I think he's aware of it.
Oh, you can't not be aware of it. You can't not be aware of it. I think
he's aware of it. You gave him a really good question, so he needs to work on it. And hopefully throughout the season, throughout his tenure at the club, he's able to get that opportunity to make the change.
Marcel. Oh. A lot of people, when he'll start talking about Andre Onana, going, he's not doing too great. People go, Marcel, Yeah, I could feel it in the comment section. Let's go to the super chats here. Red Baron says, like how KG abandoned Wan-Bissaka that one time. I guess, wow, he did, and then he came back. He brought him back. It was a dark time for KG, that comedian. Lil Yo-Yo says, Owen, you need to find the clip of KG screw facing any time or face screwing up every time Onana is brought up. He was dying every time. I was dying every time he did that. KG was not on the Onana hype train yesterday at all. He was very, 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 very frustrated, to say the least, and I don't blame him. Red Baron says, we can complain about United over and over, but we will never be on the same page as clubs above us whilst the Glazers are here. It's futile. Well, obviously, that's the bigger overarching issue, is the ownership, and until that is sorted, it's always, until that's sorted, United, they're never going to truly get back to the levels they were at before. But at the same time, this is when you say, for instance, certain player performances, it's an easy way out to be like, well, there's a lot of noise going on with the takeover at the moment, so I'm not playing very well. That's an easy way out for some of these players' poor performances, in my opinion, certainly. And you mentioned the takeover stuff. There was a bit of takeover stuff yesterday. David Beckham was talking to Sky Sports News, and essentially he was saying that he hopes that it gets resolved, and even just as a United fan, he wants everyone to be on the same page, and they want just, consistency and continuity at the club. He said he knows who is the right person to get Manchester United back to where they need to be. Didn't say specifically. The reporter said, is that Sheikh Jassim? And he said, we'll see. Obviously, Beckham does have strong ties to Qatar, and I wouldn't even be shocked, if Sheikh Jassim wins that race, if Beckham gets involved in, at the very least, maybe an ambassadorial role capacity, maybe a bit of a public face of it. I don't know if David Beckham's money would be involved in that in the same way that it is with Inter Miami, but David Beckham being involved in that, I think it's entirely possible. David Beckham's reached, another plateau when it comes to business within football. He's a football club owner at this point. He's a franchise owner in America, in the MLS. He's signed Lionel Messi, so he knows what he's doing. Certainly, doesn't he? Let's get some more reaction. Let's go to Haley outside Old Trafford.
Yeah, can I just say that was a big tribute to Sir Alex's wife that passed away. R.I.P. We done it in stoppage time, Fergie time. Done it in Fergie time. It was bouncing. It was rocking. I was over the moon. But I'm not gonna lie, I lost faith, because when VAR goal didn't go in, I'm like, oh my god.
It's not gonna be our day.
It's not gonna be our day. We started so poor in the first half. It's like, play these players in their positions, please. Play them to their strengths. Do you know what? You lot could actually take my previous videos and put it in today, because it's the same problems that's happening all the time. And Bruno, you could see in the second half, he played a little bit better when he was playing in his position. Mason Mount, you pushed him over to the right. Is that Mason Mount's best position? I don't think so. But you saw the team played better when Anthony came on. Anthony didn't do amazing, but what he does, he gets wide. We didn't have no width in the first half. Bruno in the first half kept tucking in.
Yeah, he was playing so narrow.
It was too narrow, and that's just playing to Brentford's strengths. All they needed to do was stay compact. Shuffle across. Oh my god, why was it so slow? It was so slow. It was so slow and obvious. Why? I don't know why they're doing that.
Talk to me about the mistakes. Look at the goal that we did concede. I know it's going to be at Onana's doorstep. We'll get there. But, Casemiro was hooked at half-time.
Rightly so.
Lindelof could have cleared it, didn't. Then Onana does that. But just those three in that phase of play. Talk to me about it.
I mean, it's just the same old. How many times have we said this season already? Onana, you got to save that. Casemiro, stop giving away the ball. And that pass, in fact, the middle of the pitch as well, that was so unnecessary. There wasn't even pressure on him, but yeah, it's such a simple pass and he's giving away in the middle of the park. That's unacceptable. Then no one is able to make a tackle before it leads up into our goal.
Lindelof just kicks it. He kicks it straight back to them.
It's ridiculous. Where's the... I don't even know what the word is. But then it gets into our box. They have a shot off. Mr. Clumsy Hands can't save it. I'm so scared every time the opposition shoots. I'm sure their tactics are just shoot. Literally, you don't have to be amazing to beat us. Just be compact, shoot it at the goal. It's going to go in. honestly, if I was the Brentford coach, that's what I'm telling him.
Do you think he can come out of this period? Like, is it a case of like we have to keep backing him, Ten Hag has to keep backing him, let him get through this bad period, or are you trying to see like give him a little bit of time out, or actually the international break can do him well, he can get time out? Would you make a change there for a little bit, or just keep pushing?
But the thing is, what we're noticing, when these players are not in form, Bruno, Rashford, Casemiro, Onana, what does Ten Hag do? He keeps playing them. So I think his tactic is to play them until they're going to come into form, rather than dump them on the bench. Well, personally, I think that some of these players just need to relax, sit on the bench, get some confidence, let somebody else come in and do the job.
It's true what Haley's saying there. I think that does seem to be the Ten Hag, almost philosophy with players that aren't playing well, is to keep playing them. They'll get out of it eventually. But the problem is there's no indication some of these players are at the moment. And you look at someone like a Harry Maguire, and I'm not saying one good game means that he's suddenly in good form, but McTominay too, going out of the side for a little bit, and they then when they're selected, they make a bit of a difference. That's worked for a couple of players thus far this season. Wayne's List with the super chat says, it's genius. Remember Galatasaray scored within 5 minutes each time we scored in the week. So simply score all your goals in injury time. Genius. Basically saying they can't come back. You don't give enough time. It's a very smart strategy, certainly. How many likes are we currently on at the moment? We have over 600 people watching. I know it's Sunday, and I don't know about you, I was knackered. I stayed up late last night. I did a stream and a post show on my channel, OWEN Wrestle News 365. Links in the video description below. For a show, Fast Lane. So we're operating this morning. You can probably tell, but we're operating on like 2 and a bit hours sleep. We've got the coffee ready. We're going back to bed straight after this. But I know people, I forgot where I was going with that. I forgot where I was going. Likes. So I know people are maybe tired and they're like going, it's Sunday, people are resting. You're watching this in bed on your phone or on your tablet, or maybe on your TV. I forget a lot of people watch it on the TV. But I'm one of those people, headphones on, watching it on my phone, like this close to my face, watching it like that. And you think, I forgot to click the like button. Some people do it afterwards. Some people get to the end of the stream and think, I forgot to bloody click the like button. What am I like? So if you haven't already, click the like button. Be sure to subscribe as well. Bottom right-hand corner. You know what to do. Let's see if we can get to 150, 200, maybe even 300. I mean, even if half of everyone clicked the like button now, we'd be well over 300, possibly. So if you haven't already, click that like button as well. But it's about momentum for Erik ten Hag, and it's a bit frustrating because you pick up the win, now you're on international break for a while. But actually, I say picking up momentum because some of those players now might have a bit of pep in their step, a bit of bounce, maybe got on international duty, play well too, and then maybe we can build on that once we get back from the international break, certainly as well. But I tell you what, even though it's Sheffield United, I don't like having international break and then playing away from home. That's always a concern, isn't it? It's always a worry because sometimes just that first game being away from home can be a bit of a banana peel, certainly, can't it? Let's get some more reaction. Now, the next person we're going to go to is Cam. Now, obviously, a lot of people are talking about Cam, Andre Onana, David De Gea, etc. Now, you won't see it in this clip, but if you go and watch the full fan view, it's one of the most bizarre things I've ever watched in my life. You don't see it in this one. But we had our Sky Sports moment, I think, realistically. Deadline day, and you get those people standing outside the training ground, microphone in hand. Then you get those weird people behind them that just stare into the camera lens throughout the entire video. That happened to Cam. It was very, very odd. Now, you don't see it in this clip, but it happened. If you want to check that out, go and check out the full fan view, as well as all of the full fan views. But it's a tremendous view. Let's take a look at this.
Emotions in it. There's no better way to go into an international break than last-minute winner. And I think it's weird, because if the game had finished 2-1, but it had gone a different way, maybe Brentford scored like an equaliser after we'd gone 1 up, and we score a scrappy goal 60th minute, the game would have petered out. It wouldn't have felt the same. But in terms of the spike it's given everyone here, for Ten Hag and for the club, that's massive.
Is it that? Because you talk about how you win, last minute winners, and now the big question is going to be, can the lads be confident from that? Can they turn a corner by winning like that? You know, the critics and the rivals will say, oh, look at them celebrating last minute against little old Brentford. But in reality, can it be the catalyst for something better? Because we'll get to the individuals, we'll get to why we even end up in that situation. But because it's right after the game and we're all still excited because, you know, our voices are gone, can it be a turning point? Can that help the squad?
Of course it can. Look at the body language of the players. Look at how they're all looking at the moment. They don't want to go out there and play. You saw after the first maybe 20, 25 minutes we dominated. After that, there was players not bothering to challenge in the air, not putting a leg in, not even making a tackle in midfield. It was really, really poor, doing basic things wrong. But that's all mentality. That's all attitude. That's all sort of the desire side of things. And if you win a game like that, then I'll go away for 2 weeks, completely freshen things up. But as soon as they come back, they'll all be talking about this again. The last minute winner they had the last time they were all together. And so in terms of fixing a dressing room that right now looks to be broken, there's no better way than last minute.
Well, especially when the chips are down, the confidence is down, you know, when the results aren't good, everyone just feels down. But then can it be something just like that? It doesn't matter how you play, you just get a winner, just get 3 points on the board.
Yeah, absolutely, but it's not just results. The star players aren't performing. Obviously Ten Hag's brought Onana in, not performing. Marcus Rashford, one of the big players, not performing. Bruno Fernandes, not performing. Casemiro has been terrible. A lot of his big players aren't doing their job. But some of the players that were backups have come in today and done a brilliant job. Harry Maguire, Johnny Evans, fantastic today, both of them. Really, really good. Did the basics well, covered each other, won stuff in the air. Maguire got the assist for the winner as well. Evans was brilliant. Lindelof, shocking.
Yeah, he played his part in that first goal as well by not clearing it properly. Casemiro, again, we're talking about error after error after error. It was 3 in a row. Let's get into that about the individuals because it is positive. Obviously, we have won and we're happy. 3 points. You'd much rather be walking out here, even after playing not so well for most of it, and win than not. But there is an inquest. We still need to talk about how mistakes are still costing us. Just that today, actually, they just kind of kept going. But Casemiro kicks it off by giving away the ball aimlessly. He did one before that in the first half.
It wasn't even that.
And then he goes steaming in.
That was, for the goal. That's what kicked it off. Yeah. But before that,
he gave a stupid one away as well.
But even before that, we dominated for 20, 22 minutes. And then, all of a sudden, we don't win one header. We don't win another header. We don't win another header. Someone loses their duel. Someone gets bypassed far too easily. Don't make a tackle. Someone runs through them. They're running at the defence. Defenders back off. And at that moment, the whole switch is flipped. All of a sudden, then you look at Rashford's body language. He's thinking, we've just been dominating. We've been camped in the final third. And now I've got to track back. He's gone. Bruno's gone. All of a sudden, that's what it takes when the mentality is as fragile as it is here. A few duels lost, a few people not winning their headers. That's all it takes sometimes, and that's what it was. That happened, then Casemiro's given a couple away, then Lindelof's not cleared the ball properly, and then Onana's made it.
Big up to Sergio Reguilon for doing a fan view of United View after the game. You know, he's got a busy schedule. He's currently recovering from injury as well. Played very well since coming to Manchester United. So for him to take the time to do a fan view with Flex after the game, I think it's a big get for United View. So Sergio Reguilon on the channel, unbelievable. Excellent. It's Cam. It was Cam. I thought, sorry. I don't know why I thought that was Sergio Reguilon. Very, very strange. Yeah. Maybe. I'll have to double check that. But I could have swore it was Sergio Reguilon. I mean, perhaps. You never know. Let's end on some good vibes. We're rapidly running out of time. Excuse me, actually. Liz Lilioya points out, this is true. I butchered that because I mispronounced his name. It's Reguilon. So sorry, Sergio. Thank you for doing the fan view. Reguilon, not Reguilon. What am I talking about? Reguilon. And what people don't know actually with the signing on loan of Reguilon, and actually the signing for him to do that fan view flex after the game, is that was actually made possible thanks to an intermediary, and his name is David Gil. And it was very, very, very useful that David Gil actually helped us get Reguilon onto the channel. It's true. The KG pronunciations: Reguilon, David Gil. Let's end on some good vibes. I'm rapidly running out of time, but I want to get some good vibes from Good Vibes John. Here's what John Shin had to say.
Oh, it's against Brentford, and I know it should be easy, but let's just celebrate the win. A sigh of relief for us Manchester United fans, a sigh of relief for Erik ten Hag, and a sigh of relief for those players, because I guarantee you they're in that locker room right now going like, whew. and they all owe a nice fat little present for Scott McTominay, because Scott came off the bench with a worldie of a dying minute performance to score 2 goals to secure 3 points for Manchester United. Oh my days, how have we come away with that result? Thomas Frank and Brentford must be fuming. To be fair, Manchester United have been controlling most parts of the match with respect to possession, but what's the point of having possession? What's the point of nice fancy plays, passages through the third? What's the point of switching the ball from one side to the other? What's the point of all of that if we can't score? What's the point of all of it? Anyways, before I go on any further, I just want to take this moment to send some love to Sir Alex Ferguson and to his family during this extremely difficult time. Just a few days ago, we've heard the news of Lady Kathy Ferguson, Sir Alex's wife, her passing. And my heart goes out to Sir Alex and his family, and my deepest condolences. And I was kind of low-key hoping that today's performance and today's win will be for Sir Alex and his family. I think I saw a picture of Sir Alex in the stadium. I'm not sure if he was actually at the game or not. But regardless, this should have been a win for Sir Alex in a clean performance. And it wasn't. Yeah, we might have been looking pretty. But again, Manchester United seems to be in this rhythm. It's insane how we can't wash this off. It feels like almost like a bad addiction to a bad drug, where we start okay, we start looking okay, and we're improving little by little. But it's always final third, the final pass, the final goal, the final shot, final everything. The final oomph is lacking from Manchester United. And I think the word that perfectly describes Man United right now is disjointed. We look disjointed everywhere. It looks like we want to scratch our head with our left hand, but it seems like we're scratching our butt with our right hand. It looks like we want to touch our right shoulder, but we're touching our left ass. Like, I don't know what's going on. They look disjointed. And the final oomph is always lacking. And then, sequentially, almost as if it was written in the stars, Manchester United conceded against the run of form. Let's talk a little bit about that, because once again, it was an unacceptable situation for Eric Ten Hag's boys. You guys know, if you've been following me for a while, you know how much I bloody love Casemiro. I thought he was my favorite player, the best player last season. But this season, he has not been good. For whatever reason, whether it be because maybe it's because he's lost a yard of pace, maybe it's because he can't stay as fit as he used to, the age is catching up to him, is it an exhaustion issue? Whatever it is, this man is a 5-time Champions League winner. This man has won everything there is to win for Real Madrid. You cannot have a lapse in concentration the way Casemiro did. That pass to Amrabat, which he scuffed, he was pretty much right in front of the 18-yard box. Not right in front, but he's standing in front of his 2 central defenders. 2 central defenders, the 4th and 5th choice, by the way, Johnny Evans and Harry Maguire. Harry Maguire, which I want to talk to a little bit later. He's standing in front of his deputized center backs, in front of his deputized fullbacks. That entire back four is not the strongest back four on paper or whatever it is. And you expect Casemiro to be a bit more tidier than that.
Big up, John. Good vibes, John, there. Red Baron says, lose a few jewels and everyone starts going emo. Well, I guess referring to Casemiro. But I think it's a lot more than just losing a few jewels. I mean, you look at, for instance, his performance against Brentford, against Galatasaray on Tuesday. He had a pass completion rate of 72%. He lost possession 16 times. His dual success rate has gone down to like 50% or something this season as well, in comparison to something last season like 70 or 80%. He is off this season. Clearly it's off. And I don't think it's an overreaction. I think, if anything, what's helped him is the fact that he's been our top goal scorer this season, Casemiro. But I don't think it's an overreaction to be like, oh, people... And I don't think it's a case of people trying to like completely just, I don't think it's a case of, it's been like completely writing him off. I just think he needs to come out the side. Red Baron says, Owen, I meant our players go emo when players lose jewels. Wow. There you go. Got to be clearer, Red Baron. It was a very ambiguous super chat, that one. But there you go. Anyway, guys, one ending. If you haven't already, click the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. A reminder, you can go check out all of the fan views from yesterday's game, player ratings as well. Going to be some interesting bits of content coming today. Maybe something a little bit new. Ooh, what could that be? What a tease, Owen. Also, as well, as always, Sunday, today, full view, 7 p.m. BST. We'll be live with the full panel once again, breaking things down, all things down Manchester United, and discussing where we go next into this international break. So be sure to check that out. I'm out of here, though. Have a great Sunday morning and afternoon, and I'll speak to you again very soon. I'm out of here. Peace.